Well, hello and welcome to the DC United Kingdom podcast. This is season 3 and it's episode 4, and I'm your host, James Gray. As you'll see, alongside me over here, and we're just going to have a quick look over at him. Hello. I've got Jon, who is half of the RFK Refugees. Welcome to the show for the second time, Jon. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm great. I'm waiting for my golden jacket for the Two Timers Club. I'm trying to catch up with the real show, the friends of the show, but we'll get there. We'll get there eventually.
Well, I think on your show you said it was a green jacket, wasn't it, that you got for 2 times? And that was for Felipe, wasn't it?
It's in the mail, Felipe. If you're listening to this, there was a mailing mishap with the jacket, so it'll get there eventually. I promise. At some point.
Oh, fantastic. Right, just a quick reminder, if you've missed the season so far, obviously if you're watching it live, don't go away just yet. Watch the stuff at the end. But so far, we've had Russell Knaus on. We had that great interview with Hernan Losada, and on the last show, I finally got to interview my goalkeeping idol, Bill Hamid. We've had the giveaway at the start of the year for the DCU 2021 home jersey, which was won by Adam. That was awesome to be able to do that. And we've gone live on Patreon, and we've got new merchandise as well. So have a look in the description. You'll see the links in there. Have a click through, and I would love it if you would be able to support the show in any way you can. But Jon,
yeah, and if you guys want to give James money, we'll also take your money. We're also into that. So head over to rfkrefugees.com and spread it around.
Great little plug there. It was nicely done.
Thank you.
We've had our first comment in the YouTube chat. Angus, hello, how are you doing? Give us a little response on that. See, how are you getting on over there? But Jon, how is it over in America right now, across the pond?
You know, I can't complain. We're having pretty good weather. It feels like we're turning a little bit of a corner. Maybe that's wrong. People are, of course, getting kicked out of spring break in Florida, so corners are relative, perhaps. But I think that we're all starting to feel like the end of a super long nightmare. We've got a full schedule released. We've got soccer that's about to happen, so I feel like we have to be thankful about that for sure.
Indeed, things are looking up. Finally, we had our first preseason game, which we will talk about. We've got a preseason game. If you're watching or listening before Friday, we're coming up against Loudoun United. That's going to be streamed live on dcunited.com. And as you rightly said, we've had the full season schedule announced. So great season ahead, things to look forward to. But let's start with the talking points. The first one, the new jersey. What do you reckon?
I have one upstairs. I've got a Kevin Paredes jersey. I have worn it a couple times. I like it. Certainly better than last year's. I will say that if you search for DC United away jerseys from last year on eBay, there are about 5 trillion of them, and they're about $25. So if you're into white T-shirts that have DC United logos on them, you can get one for a song right now. They're just giving them away.
I mean, I've looked on different sites over here, like obviously the UK version of eBay, Kitbag. They're still going for like 60, 70 quid.
No, you've got to get somebody over here who could hook you up, because they are literally Facebook Marketplace. I feel like what happened was there was a truck of them. And they just opened the back door and they all fell out and no one cared because they're white T-shirts. And then all these people took them and are now selling them for nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly the greatest of jerseys.
It was not a hit.
No. And I don't think the 2019-2020 across the board was a hit at all for anyone.
No.
The one jersey that I thought was a little bit different, a little bit out there in terms of the white ones, was San Jose Earthquakes, where they had the blue and the yellow, and it was a bit different.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the LA Galaxy kit right now, the old green stripe one. Yeah, that's an excellent jersey. It's like Leeds colors currently, but it is I'd go that way. I think that they need to lean more into their at least the teams that have a heritage that is not 90s garish. San Jose, for instance, you would not want to lean too far back into their early days. Not visually appealing, extremely 90s aesthetic. But there are some that could do it. You know, the Red Bulls, if they were allowed to do Metro Stars things, could make some appealing jerseys.
Yeah, I mean, as you touched on there, the Galaxy one, that reminds me of an old Middlesbrough kit from back in the 94-95 season, going back way back on that one, and I think I tweeted it out, and they look very similar. They've got the vertical stripes, the green, the dark green. It pains me to say because I'm not a big Galaxy fan, but it is a nice kit.
You gotta give it up where you gotta give it up, right? I feel like this is just one of them times. The Marvel jersey is fine. I think it's good. I think they took a few risks. They could have maybe taken more, I think. Yeah. But I guarantee you it'll sell better than the last one.
Oh yeah,
without a doubt.
I mean, I've bought one and I didn't buy the last one, so that's an increase right there. Yeah.
Check +1.
Yeah, and I like the blue. I like the red on it, and I like the material as well.
The blue was, I think, a little controversial for some folks. They didn't like the blue, but then again, that's the internet, and you're not going to find too many nice things on the internet. But I think overall, people, you can't make everybody happy, but I think this has already made more people happy than the last one. So
exactly,
kudos.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Like you talked about before, the cherry blossom jersey is still the TBD, hopefully coming in the future jersey. I think Bill was talking about doing that as a goalie jersey, right? Or hoping for that. That's easy, right? Because you don't have to print more of them. You just make one.
Exactly. It's
done.
Yeah. But that's the one thing that I still don't get is the fact that you can't buy an MLS goalkeeper jersey.
Not online. You can sometimes in the store they'll have them, and they used to have them at RFK. They would have a bit more of them. There are, you guys talk to Donald Wine. Donald Wine has like 35 DC United goalie jerseys. I've seen them in him. He talks about them. I keep bringing him up. We don't even know each other, but he talks so much about having jerseys, and I've seen him in goalie jerseys. So if you're listening, Donald, we should actually be friends instead of me just talking about you on podcasts.
I mean, I was lucky he came onto mine last year. And we did talk about the jersey collection, and he's got so many. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up. And there's someone else who's got a lot of jerseys, and Kim, not just you got it. Yeah, Kim. We have I am nowhere. I'm not competing yet. My problem, I think, is I gave away too many of them. As of like my Salihi jersey, my Anjan Sulu practice jersey. I've got a bunch of weird or mid 2000s jerseys that I gave away because I was like, I wouldn't want them if they're gone. And then now later, 10 years later, I'm like, oh no, actually it would be really cool if I had, and now they're all gone. They're in Goodwill. They're in landfills. Who knows where they are? It's unfortunate. Yeah. And speaking of Kim, he's just commented. Hey, Kim. He said he's a fan of the jersey, but the internet is tied up in the myth of the cherry blossom. The year that DC comes out with the cherry blossom, the internet will break. Yeah. I'm putting it out there. The internet will actually break because it's something that isn't like Bigfoot. It's a myth until it isn't, right? Like I feel like it certainly is now. It's vaporware right now. It's from a leaked document that wasn't supposed to see the light of day. But I mean, do a small run. You do the parlay jerseys in a small run. You sell them out. Oh. You could do these in a. Listen, Kim, you among them, anything they're going to release, you're probably going to buy. I'm going to buy it. Those, even the only one I didn't get last year was the like USA, like the red, white, and blue 4th of July jerseys. I wish I had got one now. They're kind of cool. I didn't get one at the time, but anything else, I'm buying. So just do a small run, try it out. I like those the warm-up shirts that they do. I think I was able to get the Pride one from 2019. So nice. Yeah, they look really, really good. It's like, why aren't they our away jerseys normally? The more the better. There are some people that are very stodgy about like only wanting 2 jerseys, but I'm as a young person, as a Gen Z person who is into the fashions, understands that like the more the better. Have your home that you wear at home every time, but then who cares when you're away? Your fans are watching you on TV. Go crazy. Give them more stuff to buy. There you go. Anyone from the club and you're listening and you're working with Adidas, get making lots of kits. Yeah. I mean, it seems like a winner for everybody. Everybody gets more money. Seems like a way to go. More money. Yep. Make it rain. And the other thing is they could auction them off as well for charity. Yep. There you go. There we go. It's problem solved. Everyone is a winner. Everyone is a winner. Oh, comments are now hitting off on there. So Angus is just saying the same people who complain that blue isn't a DC colour would love a pink jersey. Well, I mean, he's right, but I like the blue. I'd like a pink jersey. I think great. And you know what? Why can't we have both? Well, let's be greedy.
Yep.
And then Kim's just come up and said, I think the training shirts are where they can hit up the speciality thing. Yeah, definitely. Why not have a different training shirt every game?
Sure. Why not? Go crazy.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Just don't buy too many of them so you're not holding merchandise you can't sell, and then you're good to go.
Exactly. And again, you could auction those off.
Yep.
Yeah. I know, and the other thing I want to make a point on the jersey front is, I'm sorry, Fliss, my wife, but you did catch me looking at eBay, and you said I was getting obsessed. You can never get obsessed with jerseys. Just
I feel like, I feel like the eBay tab for DC United is always open on my computer, and I'm just refreshing it. I feel like that's just the way it goes. So
yeah,
I empathize.
Shirt size in there as well, so you get it filtered down properly.
I do sometimes, but I'm also looking for other things. Like I love just general collectible stuff, and so shorts, everything, different sizes. So it just means I have to look longer and make more searches, which is fine.
There was one thing I did spot on eBay that I did want to get, but I think it was £86, and it was for the Freddie Adu Russian doll thing. And I thought,
I don't know about that one. Did you get it, or you thought you wanted to get it?
It crossed my mind.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was close to hitting that buy now button, but
I feel like that's one of those things that will not have resale value. I feel like you keeping that one. I don't think that one's appreciating in value. Maybe I'm wrong, but
the one I do want to get is the original one from '96, and I've seen a few of them on eBay, but they're going for like £150.
Yeah, I got one recently for like 60. It's not a great quality, but I have a friend, Nancy, who got one new with tags in a bag this year for like $75, maybe less. Yeah. I don't know how. We talked earlier about the jerseys falling off the cart. I can't imagine there's still 96 to 98 jerseys that are sitting in bags in a warehouse somewhere, but I don't know. She says it does. I looked at it. It doesn't look like a counterfeit. So
wow, fair play.
Got lucky. Angus found a red jersey on Facebook for $25 or something. So you get lucky.
You do. Didn't he get that ship from Brazil?
What was that? I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
I think that was I might be confusing with another one, but anyway, let's move away from jerseys.
That was a lot of jersey talk.
That was a lot of jersey talk. I mean, to be fair, I could continue on, but you know what? You guys out there, you probably want to hear some actual soccer talk for once. Because, it's been a while since I've actually done one of these style podcasts, because I've had players on over the last however many. So
and I'm very not a player. I am extremely not that. So this is a different thing for him.
Exactly. But you know what? You could be a soccer player.
Not though.
No.
I'm just telling you, it is not. It was never for me, unfortunately.
Have you ever been like a regular player or just?
Yeah, I played rec. I played rec as a kid. I played rec as an adult, and it was one of those things where my mind knew what I wanted to do, but nothing else complied. So I just said, I'm gonna watch this.
And what position did you play when you played?
Think about not wanting to run as much and loving to score goals. So exactly. I was up top. I was a non-running poaching forward.
Target man.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah.
The 5'11" target man. That worked out really well for me.
You see, I was at the other end. 6'10" goalie.
I mean, that makes sense. That's a logical placement for you, I think.
But not when you're playing 6-a-side and the goals are about 3 foot high.
Yeah, I don't know. You're losing your natural advantage there.
Lying down.
Yeah, that's
spread
not
myself
as good.
Across the goal. I fit in the goal.
That's not as good.
No, not when you get the ball smacked at you.
No.
And I'm not going to say where.
Right. I think we all know.
Yeah, we all know. And we're all flinching a little bit, I think, on that one. Right, soccer. Let's get on to it. DC soccer stuff. We've made some signings.
It's true.
In the off-season. We've made quite a few. I've got a list of them. So we had the Super Draft at the start of the year, where we picked up Kamani Smith in the 4th pick. We picked up Michael DeShields in the 5th pick, since we traded that with Atlanta. And then we picked up John Kempen, Adrian Perez, Giovanni Bolivar, Brendan Hines-Ike. We signed Jacob Green to a pro contract. And as of today, about 3 hours ago, we've officially signed Nigel Roberta.
It's true.
It's been pretty good.
Yeah, it's certainly quantity. There's a lot of quantity there. A lot of these players to me seem like they would be Loudoun United players, depth signings, not so many jumping directly into the starting 11. Nigel being maybe the exception of the player that you would think, and Brendan will probably do so, particularly with the Steve Birnbaum being out.
Yes,
but I think these are good moves. They've strengthened them where they were weak for sure, and I'm sure we can run through them one by one if you want. But I think overall this has not changed DC United's relative position in the table with these signings. There's been no real game changers out of this list. I would probably not. Let's find out.
Let's run through them. So first up, Kamani Smith, who scored his first goal in the open preseason game against Greenfield Triumph, which I'm going to put this out there. I don't care what that result was. It was for match sharpness. It was just to get the fitness up. You looked at it, we had side 11 playing out in the first half and a different 11 in the second half. You're never going to get an accurate result on that one. So not bothered about the result. I'm just happy that players were there. Don't think there was any major injuries or any knocks in that game. And we were able to score a goal. And Lasada still hasn't seen a 0-0 draw.
There you go. That's true.
That's the stat that I'll never get over, is the fact that he's never seen a 0-0 tie. It's just insane. It's
certainly something you would take into account when the betting starts in the new season.
Yeah.
It would not be one that I would put money on.
No.
Maybe the odds will be really good though. Right. That's right. So you're fighting, you got a coach's history versus a team's history. So it'll be interesting to see who wins.
Exactly. So Kamani Smith, born in England, so he's got the love from me in Nottingham. What are your thoughts on him and the stuff that you'll have seen through the DC Twitter account, because there's not really been any other content?
Yeah. So I understand he's more of a winger than a 9. Unfortunately for him, we are extremely deep on the wings, particularly on the right-hand side, which I think is the side he plays on, particularly even more so when Paul Arriola gets back. So I don't know that he'll have a big impact on the team this year. And I also don't know what the plan is as far as Loudoun, DC, if there's going to be we've had Ryan Martin on the show a bunch of times. I don't necessarily know if they've decided for sure what the rules are going to be with interseason loans. At this point, they should, in my opinion, just have it open up, have testing, but have it opened up. But I don't, I think he's one for the future rather than one I would lean on too much this year.
Yeah.
If he's playing, you either have an injury crisis or he has really, really overcome expectations to perform this year.
Yeah, no, I totally agree on that one.
Great fall season though for a college player. He had a really, really exceptional fall tournament with Clemson. Was the ACC MVP in the tournament. Scored I think 5 or 6 goals. So he's hot. So he's coming in right. We for a team that needs goals, he seems to have the touch. It's just a matter of he's not a natural 9. I don't know if he's a second striker. We'll see.
Yeah, and we've seen that Anand tends to play with 2 strikers, so he could fill that role quite well. And you've seen over the last few years, we've had a few players who've come from Super Draft who've really taken to MLS. I mean, you look at Julian Gressel, for example. I mean, he's had a cracking few years. Daryl DK now playing for Barnsley in the EFL Championship, who's doing rather well over there. Frankie Amaya had a good first season. Don't think he's going to get too many games this season because of the signings Cincy have made. They've been ridiculous in the transfer market, but
the only ones basically.
Yeah, I mean, they signed Brenner. What the heck?
I'm curious what enticements the agent received to make that happen. Yes. I mean, obviously, he wants to be in the window, right? He wants to be visible to Europe, but I don't know if FC Cincinnati is the best way to do that. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a continental interest in FC Cincinnati games that I never knew. I mean, Lucho came to that team for that same reason. Like, I think that he knows that they're watching Brenner. So if he can be around Brenner, he can probably get another opportunity to go. Because I don't think this was his long-term aspiration. I could be wrong. Maybe he loves Chile. I don't know.
I mean, when you go into a side who've only ever finished bottom,
it's a tough sell. New stadium, though, I guess. There's that.
New stadium, yes, which is looking really nice. There was a video that I caught up, and just seeing all the lights going around, it looks really, really good. But maybe still was sold on the fact that we were a brand new team, and they didn't tell them about the previous 2 seasons.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Anyway.
Expansion team.
Enough Cincy bashing.
Never.
No, you can never get enough of that. Second signing was Michael to Shields. Not really seen much of him. So to be honest, I haven't got much of an opinion on him, but it's a position that we've needed to strengthen in because of the lack of centre-backs that we've had. So maybe he's a bencher. Maybe if they're allowed to flow between the two sides, maybe he'll play a lot for Loudon and then just come in on the bench like we saw a couple of seasons ago when Loudon first came around.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. I'm not in a position to say too much more about him than that. I know that he's been playing center back. I think he's supposed to be versatile, and that's needed with a team that has injuries at center back all the time. And it looks very much like we're going to start the year with a 3-5-2. So we need all the center backs we can alive and healthy and playing.
Definitely. Now, I haven't mentioned the third super draft sign, mainly because we haven't signed him to a contract ourselves.
Right.
So there's no need to go into detail about that one, mainly because he's not actually a DC United player just yet. So if he comes into it, we'll talk about him. John Kempen, third choice keeper. Mainly, I think he's just mainly there just to replace Earl Edwards Jr., who moved on to New England Revolution.
Yep.
I think he's going to be one of those guys who probably play more for Loudon rather than anything else.
Yeah, I do not anticipate seeing him at all. I maybe on the bench. Yes, for sure on the bench at the beginning of the season with Bill recovering, but after that, never again.
Yeah, maybe he's in the US Open Cup.
On the bench. Yeah, I think. It's like yeah. I think he also like maybe if we, last 2 years ago we played Real Betis and a couple other teams, and that was like throw the kids to the wolves opportunity. So probably then you probably see him then again. Yeah,
no, absolutely. Adrian Perez, who we picked up in the waiver draft at the end of last year?
Yeah, waiver draft.
It
was one of those two. One of the 9 drafts that MLS has.
Ridiculous amount. I love the draft system, but
sure, I don't.
You need to simplify it a little bit.
Yeah,
but Adrian Perez.
I wrote an article on our website, rfkrefugees.com, talking about all of the forwards that are on the team. And I forgot him. I forgot him. I did a bit on all of them. We did a graphic. Forgot he existed. So that's tough. But that should also tell you sort of like where I think he stacks up on this team. I think it's just as likely that he gets released in preseason as he did not cost us anything. And he had minimal impact for LAFC. I could be wrong. He's obviously, he's in training. I heard his name said in one of the videos for training. So for sure he exists and is there. I don't anticipate him making a big impact for the team this year.
No, but then
could be wrong. You never know. I don't want to. Yep, you never know. And then it comes from indoor, by the way. I think if anybody who's interested where he comes from, I think he was signed from an indoor team, which is no longer, which it used to be a long time ago, a very common development pathway in MLS, as the MLS was a nascent league that was good players playing in indoor. Less so now, but that's where he was picked up from.
Fair. There we go. Every day's a school day.
Little nugget.
Yes. I was going to say something about Paris. Yes, that was it. So I play FIFA a lot recently, mainly because I got the new Xbox Series X, not to rub it in, but I was able to actually pick one up. And Perez actually is not bad on that. I think he's rated 66 or 67, which for DC is actually decent.
I take it back.
Yeah, but when
I take it all back now.
You've got me up front, who I can't put me to my actual height, which is still annoying. But move slowly, but I've got a good finish.
I love that. I love that you're too tall for the game. No, I think you should lead with that. That sounds like your Tinder profile. I think that's what that is right there. I'd keep that in there.
Plus, I don't have a Tinder profile.
He
Don't
doesn't.
listen to Jon.
He doesn't. He doesn't. But if he did, that's what he would put on there.
Move slow. Good finish. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That sounds so pervy.
YouTube after dark.
Oh, and it's only 8:30 over here.
Yeah.
It's before the watershed.
Yeah. So,
anyway,
Giovanni Bolivar.
Yes. Yes, Giovanni Bolivar. Another one I think will be sort of more towards Loudon, but I think he's one of those guys who could surprise us because he's only on loan. So obviously he'll want to make a big impact to earn that permanent transfer. I think we might be pleasantly surprised by this one.
Yeah, I don't. I kept calling him Bruno Miranda on the podcast because of another player. A 1 year loan deal for a player who did well for his under 20. And I keep thinking he's from Bolivia. And by the fact that his last name is Bolivar, I feel like I am forgiven in being incorrect on that over and over again.
But as well.
Yeah, so it's really his fault if we think about it. I think that it's very, again, I think he's a very strong bet to be in Loudon. I think maybe full stop. I think maybe train with the team during the week so that Hernan can get an idea if he likes him or not. But I think that's if he's going to play at all, that's really where it is. But not even the Open Cup. Again, we don't get to see them. These are all new players coming from leagues we don't watch. No one's watching I do have a channel that watches the Venezuelan League.
What?
Yeah, man, I have all of the channels. It's embarrassing. It's Fanatis has the Venezuelan League, so I watch it.
And that's available to watch legally.
Yeah.
What?
$7 a month. Yeah, yep.
That's insane. Don't get that over here.
Well, listen, VPN into Virginia, and then you can get it. But I think that it's very likely that he's another Loudon player. Probably more so. Kamani seems like he's a bit older, and it's more likely that he might stick with DC United and just sort of be fill in Open Cup, that kind of thing.
No, definitely. We've had a couple of comments coming through on the chat. Just Stu, how are you doing? It's nice to see you in there. Commenting back on Brenner's move. Brenner's move is so out there that maybe it's the agent's move for the shock value to drum up more interest. That's not a bad take on it, or just more money. I mean, that's probably it.
Yep.
And nobody looked closely to the brown envelopes on the table. Yeah, that's probably. We'll ignore those. And Indoor Nugget, he's learned something new. So that's.
I'm glad to provide information. Yeah, Kim mentioning at least we're not signing players because their mother sent in a videotape anymore. That is a reference to Jose Carvalho, a goalie that played in one match, I believe, for DC. Although, Kim, if you check, I believe Jose is still playing. He has found a way to stick with the team and actually play. I don't know where exactly, but I don't know if his mom also got him that contract. It's tough to say. But probably. Listen, if your mom can get you a contract, you got to give her your agent fee.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's just the way that goes.
And speaking of signings made from clips, my team in the UK, Middlesbrough, Gareth Southgate, England manager legend, because he's doing rather well for international level, started off his managerial career at the Borough. First few signings made from YouTube. Hey,
you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Afonso Alves, goal-scoring machine in Holland, in the Netherlands.
As everyone is, yeah. as most people are in Holland.
Yes. Scoring more than one goal a game, which is some record.
Wow.
His highlight was scoring 2 goals against Man City in an 8-1 win.
Wow.
I mean, granted, an 8-1 win against Man City, that's
something. What year was this?
That was 2008.
Okay, so that was before the takeover.
Before the second takeover. So this is when the Thaksin Shinawatra took over?
Yes. So the medium money takeover, not necessarily the God money. Yes. The buying anybody you want money.
Yes, not the Pep Guardiola kind of money.
Right.
And then we signed a guy called Lee Dong-gook who was playing in Germany, South Korean. I think we signed him just to sell some shirts over in Korea. We didn't sell any shirts over in Korea because it was awful. And I think there was one other player, and I can't remember his name. He was that good.
There you go.
Yeah,
YouTube.
Yeah, don't do it. And if you're listening and you're watching right now or later, don't sign players from YouTube. I know you can't really do much in the current pandemic, but just stay away from YouTube to watch players. Thank you. Anyway, Brendan Hines-Ike. Moving on.
Brendan. Yeah, we could talk about YouTube. We could talk about Middlesbrough, I'm sure, for quite a while. I would imagine that's not a problem. Yes. Brendan Hines-Ike, the thing I saw from him, and I'm not sure if you saw this as well, Jason Anderson from Black and Red and Filibuster tweeted the Smarter Scout profile. And he is below average in almost all defensive categories as far as ball retention, one-on-one, aerial duels, passing. So if you don't know Smarter Scout, the premise of it is to be able to take stats from other countries and normalize them for MLS. Yeah. So I don't know if trust the model as much as you want to trust the model, but not from a on paper perspective. We'll see. Yeah, to be determined.
You can't deal with everything on paper.
Sure, stats in soccer are, I think, I don't want to say completely specious, but it's certainly, I feel like there are players that they're getting better. The stats are definitely getting better. The more advanced stats that they're using seem to be to better triangulate a player's performance than maybe just the normal counting stats. But we'll see. I think he's got a lot to prove. Yeah. He's liked by the manager, so brought him over here. So clearly there's something that he sees in him. So,
and then you got to remember Jaime Moreno did awful in the Premier League with Borough.
Sure.
Say no more.
Sure.
Yeah. But
Josie Altidore being another Premier League washout.
Yes. He was awful. He
was extremely very bad.
Yeah. But saying that, injuries didn't help him.
No. But I don't think that was the only. he had a bunch of bad runs in a bunch of different bad places. I think he was the only place he played in. Villarreal did not score. He played in Holland and did score. I'm trying to think. It's been so long now. He's in my mind. Career. Yeah, he's older than I think. That's how you know you're getting older, is when players that you watch as rookies are like, oh, they're too old to play now. They have to retire because their bodies are breaking down. And you're like, oh, that's not good. I saw him get drafted. Yeah, not good at all.
Yes, and yet Freddie Adu's 31.
Theoretically,
that's just ridiculous.
Seventh division, whatever.
He's not now. He got released.
I'm saying like that was the ninth chance and it didn't work out. So
yeah.
I think you just hold off on that Russian doll. I think it'll get cheaper. I think if he continues to,
it's either that or it's going to get way more expensive.
That's true. No one's making Russian dolls now of Freddie Adu.
Yeah, true. In other Brendan Hines-Ike news, he's just joined Instagram.
Saw that. Yeah. All of his pictures are things Javi took in the last week and a half.
Yeah. Bless.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice that he's getting on social media so he can interact with the fans.
Yeah. No, I love it.
Yeah. It's good. It's good for us. Next up, Jacob Green, coming from the academy, and we saw last year how good our academy can be. Fingers crossed he's another good prospect. When you look at Football Manager, like I do, because it's the Bible of everything for football related. He's classed as a promising fullback.
There you go. So that's all you need to know.
Yeah,
you're set there. He looked pretty good in Loudon in the few games that he played. I think he had like 7 or 8 starts. Another player you would hope that is not again. Fullback depth is pretty thin, so there's an opportunity for him to actually get an opportunity. He is very young. He's 18, just turned 18 yesterday or day before. It's kind of slight. So we'll see. I haven't had an opportunity to see him play against MLS caliber talent. USL is a different story. So TBD. It'd be great. It'd be great. We don't have a lot of young players on the back line. So Donovan Pines is it. So
yes,
a little better.
I look how good Pines is.
He's on the up. I was doing a preview last night with I-80 West, which I believe is now on YouTube, which you can find the link on our Twitter page, twitter.com/RFK Refugees. He counted 6 or 7 different statistics that Donovan was in the 98th and 99th percentile on all of MLS.
Wow.
And they were not like made up stats either. They were like real. They were like things that you would care about. I don't remember them off the top of my head. So it was one of those things where the advanced metrics on Donovan Pines are saying, in the air, fantastic. One-on-one battles, duels, fantastic. I think his challenges are with his feet sometimes more so than his head and his ability to play like physical defense. So I think he's straightening it out. I think if he puts that last piece together, you've got your center back for as long as you can keep him.
Definitely. And saying that, there was a few times last season, because obviously he got quite a good run of games towards the end. He was playing some nice through balls, and he made a good couple of crosses as well, which was
his long
surprising.
passing is fine. We had him on the show that I think will be released tonight. And it's hard to be a defender and make mistakes as you're learning, because when you make a mistake, it's a goal. Yeah. Whereas if you're playing forward and you whiff, or you're in the midfield and you get the ball away, it doesn't necessarily automatically lead to a goal. So your mistakes are highly, highly under the microscope, and your successes just seem like what you're supposed to be doing. So it's a challenge for him, but he's, he knows he's getting better on the things that he needs to work on. So,
yeah. And just a comment in the chat there. So Angus is just saying, don't act like if Javi was taking your pictures, they would make up half of your Insta. I mean, of course, he's a great photographer.
Yeah. Stay tuned on that.
Yeah. Oh. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned on that.
Oh, there's the little nugget as well. You're coming out with a few nuggets this evening.
I'm also trying to do a lot of in-show promotion, because I saw when we had Roach on our show last week, he kept dropping his Twitter handle. I was like, you know what? That's a professional move. I need to start doing that. So
yeah,
at RFK Refugees.
Yeah, go for it. You can say as much as you want. Have another mentions there. Go for it.
No. I got to sprinkle them in. They've got to be sprinkled organically.
Okay. Yeah, fair. Jim Ensor, great to see you in the chat there. He's agreeing with Angus on the Javi fronts. But Angus, so Pines is the second coming of Pope. They both wear 23 too. And here's a little nugget of information. If you caught the episode that I had on with Pines last year, Pope is his agent.
There you go.
What more do you need? He is the second coming.
He literally almost, for sure.
Yeah. Kim, Pines, there's just a little bit to do in some decision making, and that comes with experience. He's not seasoned. He's not played a full true season just yet. But I think he'll get game time this year. If we're playing three centre backs, he's going to get some game time. That will come, and I'm really excited to see how Pines develops over the next year or two. Moving on, Nigel Roberta.
Yes, here we go.
So, the signing was announced earlier on today, or if you're listening afterwards, it was announced on
2 days
Thursday,
ago.
or whenever it is,
Right.
And there's a couple of quotes that were sent out on the email that was sent to all of us on it. We get these types of emails. So Dave Casper has come out and said, we've been monitoring Nigel over the past 2 seasons. So that's interesting. And we've been impressed with him in all phases of the game, particularly his ability to stretch the game vertically, press and counter-press, and score and manufacture all types of goals in every situation. Nigel is a bright young talent at 23, and we're looking forward to welcoming him to our family when he arrives ahead of our season opener on April 17th. And just a couple of things on him. At his time at Levski Sofia, he's got 20 goals and recorded 8 assists in 39 appearances, so a goal every other game. What do you make of that?
I mean, I would say, please refer to Eric Sorga's scoring record in Estonia. It's very challenging to sort of transport that goal scoring ability over here. It's hard to say. It's a real coin flip. But when the team makes an investment in a player, particularly in an area of need, in a position of not lack of numbers depth, but lack of proven depth.
Yes.
So I think he's very likely to push Ola Kamara from the start.
Yeah.
I think that I would not imagine. Jordi Reyna for me seems like an ideal second striker, and I don't know what Hernan is thinking about it, but it would seem to me that Ola and Nigel will be fighting for one spot, and sort of seeing how that goes throughout the year will be interesting.
Yeah, I was speaking to Stu and another friend of ours, Andy, about it, and we were just saying, if he scores 5 goals this year, it's an improvement on last year.
Yeah, he'd be a leading scorer, wouldn't he? 5?
He would. Yeah, I think leading scorer was 3.
Yeah, so by a bit, almost double, in fact.
Yeah, exactly. So 4 goals, and he would be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be a problem. I do not think that will be the same this year. I have to believe, as an optimist and a person who has to do so much talking about this team, that will not be the case this year. There will be at least 6 goals for somebody.
Yes.
Hopefully more than somebody's.
And if we get the Losada Ball, which I've coined, #Losada Ball, we're going to get so many goals this year. And that probably will be in our own net. But I'm here for the entertainment. That's what we watch soccer for, is to be entertained. So I think it's going to be an exciting year on that front. So moving on, still on roster depth and things like that. What pieces are we still missing? And I know you referred to your article on rfkrefugees.com around the too many attackers, and you missed out Adrian Perez. But
I did.
That means we've got 7 forwards.
Correct.
You mentioned 6, didn't you, on your
correct
article?
Well, there is some discussion after. I believe Angus was the one making this point of clarification, that some of those players are likely wing players and not actually in consideration for starting at a striker position. So for the pedants among us, that is technically true, but I put them in for the other reason. But I think that other positions still could be addressed. Wingback depth is still very thin.
Yeah.
O'Neal Fisher, to me, I don't know what he was looking for a contract perspective, but I feel like as you know what he can bring you, if he wasn't looking for too much money, seems like a guy you want to keep around while you're still real thin.
Yeah.
And maybe cut him or trade him halfway through the year once you know who you have, seeing what Jacob Green can do. And then I still think, where does Flores really feel comfortable as a player? Is it on the wing? Is it in the middle? Is it as a second striker? So my concern is at the 10. I was very excited about the possibility of, as if you watched our show at all, I was very excited about Luciano Acosta potentially coming back.
Yes.
And then pushing Flores into a second striker role. That did not happen, as you know. He's at FC Cincinnati now. So I think that is the other a creative unlocking player in the middle of the field is an area where I think we could do for some backup or some improvement. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with the wing back, and I think we could still do with another centre back, just because of the fact that Birnbaum's probably going to be end up out for quite a long time. He's had to have second surgery on his ankle, which is never a good thing.
Nope.
And we've got Briant, who's not the quickest, and he's getting on quite a bit now. I think he's 35.
Correct.
Me if I'm wrong.
Nope, that's correct. I remember because that's how old I am, so I will never forget how old
fair.
He is.
I would never have said you were 35.
That's it's the lighting. It's skin regime and the lighting.
But yeah, it's we need younger players at the back, I think, just to keep things fresh. So for me, it's the defensive side we need to be strengthening in rather than the forward line now.
Yep, I think we're set there. I think without spending a lot of money, we're set there, right? Like I think you could clearly spend a lot of money and get better there, but we're not going to right now. We don't. That's not what we're doing right now. So I agree with you.
And when Hernan was on the show a few weeks ago, he was saying that there isn't that much money to spend, and he's going to have to get creative to bring people in. So let's get creative.
Yeah.
Outgoings. Areola obviously made his way over to Swansea City to play in the EFL Championship. Currently out injured.
Temporarily outgoing, most likely.
Oh, yeah. Because there's no fee clause in there to make it a permanent signing, I'm quite confident he will be back at the end of the season in England, even though they're playing Wales. Yeah. I'm going to say nothing on that one because Stu's watching the show. But it's annoying that he's not played more because I would love to have seen him get some game time. But I think it was a calf injury he's picked up.
Hip, I believe it's a hip injury. It's something. It's something it's somewhat lingering. I think he's supposed to be back first week of April, according to my Bible. Foot Mob said first week of April for that. Okay. So
fair.
But I mean, they have not been scoring, right? Like I'm looking at their run here. Lost 1-0 against Cardiff, 3-0 against Bournemouth. Beat Luton Town 1-0, and then drew against Blackburn, and then beat, you know.
Yeah,
your boys.
You don't need to mention that one. Thanks.
Yeah. So, but that's it. Like they're not lighting it on fire. It's a question of when he gets back to fitness. Are they finally going to give him an opportunity? I think either way, they're still in third. Not an automatic spot, but probably good odds to make the playoffs. Is it 6? Is it the top 6? So 2 through 5,
3, 4, 5, 6 go into the playoffs. 3 play 6 and 4 play 5. Middlesbrough, my team, hopefully find out to get into that last place in the playoffs. So if Swansea still stay in third, we could be playing them.
Yeah, they're on 69 points and Reading on 62 points. So it's pretty tight. There are not that many games left here in the season, it would appear. I mean, I guess there are. How many matches do they play in the championship?
46.
Okay, well, there are plenty left.
Yes.
Never mind. So there's plenty of opportunity for them to fall out of those spots. But all that to say that if they don't get promoted, there's zero chance that they're going to spend the money on a transfer for him. So, and if they do make it, it's a matter of how integral is he to that stretch run. So he's got to play to be integral, though.
Yes. I mean, not quite an outgoing. We've already touched on it. Lucio Costa going to Cincinnati. We picked some good old Garber books on that one. Did we get enough Garber books? Yeah,
I think from yes, I think for the way he was playing in Mexico and the fact that there is contingencies for next year if he does well, to give us more money. So I'd also like to see what we're going to spend it on, because as far as I'm aware, Garber bucks expire. So we have quite a nice little stack. They don't. So what are we gonna spend it on?
Is it 3 years they expire?
I don't know. Someone in the chat.
I'm going on Football Manager experience here.
Yeah, someone in the chat. Google how long general allocation money lasts on a team. I think it's a year, but I could be wrong. Because it's money for this year.
True, but I'm sure some of it carries over. Or I might be thinking of TAN.
I don't know. Somebody in the chat, take care of this for us.
Someone can have a look for it. We'll announce it on the show.
We're doing a podcast right now. We can't be expected to know things and have researched it ahead of time. That's no.
And we're blokes, so we can't multitask.
Right. There you go.
It's a well-known fact.
There you
go. So I don't know whether there was any other outgoings that you.
O'Neill Fisher, O'Neill Fisher. Trying to think other than that. Other than deep down the roster, some Melberg. Like some players that didn't touch the field very long. Earl Edwards, you already referred to. So no real difference makers on a second to last place team.
Yeah. Kim's just said DC will get nearly 500,000 Garber bucks for a non-roster player.
There you go. The fun rules of MLS. A player we don't own getting us $500,000. Gotta love it.
It's so bizarre. Was excited to see Swansea signing players from MLS. Then they both got injured from Stu. Yeah. So Swansea's a bit of a bad omen for MLS players there. And Kim's just gone, Garber bucks fall under the Calvin Ball rules. Does that make sense? Because that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, that the rules will change as necessary. They're fungible. They're fungible rules.
Fair dues. Gotta love it. So moving away from signings onto pre-season. First result we've had, as I mentioned earlier on, was a tie against Greenville Triumph, which is John Harkes' team, former DC player. I've obviously given my thoughts on it. The fact that I don't really care for the result. It was just all about the match sharpness. Did you take away anything from that?
No. Glad no one got hurt. That's really all. And I'm, Rodney Wallace has already been released. My hope and goal is that Andy Nahar gets a contract that will. I'm a sentimental man, and that will hit me in the heart in the right way. I know he played at center back. I believe that's what I read on the old internet, which is weird. So we'll see. I mean, no one got hurt. They drew. The fact that there are people angry that they didn't win is extremely predictable and silly. But yeah, I'm excited for them to get to games that I can watch in person, preferably, but even online will be fine.
Yes. And speaking,
and you said earlier that the Loudon game will be streamed. Is that true? I saw today that it would not be streamed from Golf. Has it changed?
That must, if that's true, if what you're saying is true, then that's changed. Because I got told by a little friend of mine that the game was being streamed.
All right, well then maybe Golf could be wrong. It's entirely possible.
And I trust Golf.
Yeah, but if there's a place where they could stream the game pretty easily, it should be Audi Field. I think that would be, even on a phone. I don't care. Just take this, just do this, and show me the game. That's all I need.
I mean, Javi could do it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
another credit to his resume would be live video production.
And I'm sure Claudia has a background in video.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, if we can watch it, I would love it, because it'd be nice to be able to watch a game again, because it's been coming up 6 months,
37 years. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, how long? A couple months. It feels a little bit longer. Years. Yeah, something like that. Particularly from our perspective, right? Like getting to analyze actual games instead of, oh my God, I'm so excited. I feel like we have been podcasting nonstop for. It feels like the offseason has literally been about that long, about 3 years. So I'm extremely excited for actual games to talk about and player performances to analyze. Yes. And I'm sure that you all are too.
Yeah, absolutely. For those of you watching live, let us know what you're most excited about coming up this season in terms of the games. Is there a particular game that you're looking forward to out there? And if you're listening to after, tweet at DC United Kingdom. Let me know what game you're looking forward to afterwards. Coming up, though, we've just mentioned, we've got Loudoun United coming up on the 26th. We then got Philadelphia Union on the 31st, NYCFC on April 4th. I don't know where we're playing that one. It could be in New Jersey, it could be in New York City. Who the heck knows these days? And then we got the Metro Stars on April 10th, the day after my birthday.
There you go. Happy future birthday.
Yeah, thank you very much. So... What do you... Well, 2 questions. What do you expect from those games? And then follow up on that one. What do you want from those games?
Well, if I'm put on my Hernan Losada media hat, I don't expect results to go our way necessarily, because this is a feeling out period and we're installing a new formation that these players are not all accustomed to, although we have played 3-5-2 under Ben Olsen. So
yes.
It's not completely foreign to these people. Mm-hmm. They have played it. It's hard to say that far in advance. I think this next game against Loudoun is another opportunity for the fringe players, the trialists, to get an opportunity. I think once you get into April, New York City game, and then the Red Bulls game on the 10th, you're now locking into what your lineup is going to be and making sure you don't get injured. I think for me, the most important thing to see in these games is an offense that seems to be clicking and players who underperformed last year playing with confidence. So Ola Kamara playing with confidence, Julian Gresso playing with confidence, Edison Flores playing with confidence, Emil Assad on the wing playing with confidence. That's the most important thing. That's what Hernan, if he does nothing else, restoring those players to their normal working order, I feel like will get us to the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, for me, coming up in these next few games in the preseason, again, avoiding injuries is obviously going to be a key thing. That goes without saying throughout the entire year, because we had some horrendous injuries last year. And speaking of which, good friend of both of our shows, Felipe, couldn't have really picked a better time to get an ACL injury. The longest off-season in history.
It's true.
I mean,
it's true. It saved him a month of play for sure with a late start.
And we've seen him in training, and all the videos that we've seen online from DC. And it looks like he's training quite hard.
I think he said he's on track for May return is the hope.
I mean, he's not really going to miss that many games then, is he?
No, nope. And it's a position of, I don't know where we're talking about it. I'm getting them confused, but Moses Nyman is a player that needs to play, and he's in a position with 3 guys ahead of him that all could be starters and should be starters. Yeah. So really interesting to see how Hernan's able to balance that and get him minutes. It's important. I think it's really, really important. More than, I don't want to say it's more important than winning, because it's not, but it's extremely important to the long-term success of the franchise to be able to get players like him the exposure that they need to be able to get transferred on. He's a player of the young players. I think he has the highest ceiling, and he is the most interesting to international observers about what he could become. So you got to get him on the field even more than just put him in Loudon. I think that's fine, but you need to find a way to get him on the field in DC because he's got that much talent.
He does. And there was an article last year from The Guardian over here. Every year they do like the top 50 under 18 players, I think it is. And Nyman was the only player from the USA in that. And the fact that, and the only player from MLS as well, from what I remember. So the fact that he's in there shows how strong of a talent and how much potential he's got to really make waves in football in general.
Yeah, hopefully we can leverage him better than we did Chris Durkin. Chris Durkin was also really pretty highly touted. Yes. And his career did not take that next jump yet. He's still really young. It could. Yes. But a player that has that much attention, you've got to figure out a way to get him on the field so that you can leverage that attention to his and your benefit.
Yeah. And I think last year there was so much hype behind Kevin Paredes that Nyman kind of went under the radar a little bit. And
he did. He didn't get a lot of playtime.
It allowed him to kind of just sneak in there a little bit rather than being front and center of everything. Unlike the content that was released the other day, where Nyman was front and center with the new kit, and obviously from the
let's see what Hernan thinks and how he puts him out there. I think it's Felipe. You know what all the rest of the players can give you. Honestly, I think that one of those defensive midfielders needs to be moved on. Russell. Really? I think Russell has the most trade value within the league with his age and his versatility, despite his hating playing right back. I think that, they're all good players. They can all start. I would say find out what you have with Felipe from a return perspective. Yeah. Like if you are confident that he will physically be able to hold up this year and next year and maybe one other year. I think you've got to clear some space for your young players to get an opportunity.
Yeah.
I think he's a great player. I think, but that sometimes you have to move great players in order to, position of strength. What are you going to do? I'd be interested to know what fans or the viewers that are watching think of this too. Like how do you clear up that logjam to get Moses Nyman minutes?
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you on releasing Knaus. Well, not releasing, obviously moving him on, but I'm gonna go with Junior Moreno. I don't think he had an outstanding season last season. I think he's one of those players who is just there. You need those kind of players to just to grind the games out and do what they need to do. But for me, I think he's from class of players, I think he's the one I would move on.
He is a player that one of those guys where the statistics you look at don't seem to match the performance. He has a really high. He's a positive passer. He's not making sideways and backwards passes. His completion rate is very high, and his one-on-one wins are really, really high. So that's one of those things. Watch the Opta stats on him after a game. If you didn't notice him, look at that, and then you'll say, I guess he did better than I thought. And that's consistent. He did have, I think that the thing that people remember about Junior is the red card in the MLS Back tournament. Yes. That was really notable. It was probably his biggest brain fart in the DC United uniform in the entire time he's been there. But I don't know. I think you could go either way with that. I just think that Russell has more of a name in the league and might get you a better return. But I could be wrong. Maybe they're going to keep 4 defensive midfielders who all need to play. It's possible.
That's very Ben Olsen, though, isn't
it? It was. I think we've changed, right? Like, so I think there's probably not a need for that anymore. So what are you going to do?
But then saying that, it could be a case of Hannah might turn one of those defensive midfielders into more of a box-to-box midfielder. And that's the kind of thing.
Who do you think has that skill set out of those?
Felipe.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think he has. And he's promised me a great strike. He promised that on the show. He wanted to get that goal. And I think Knaus has said that. It's something we need to get, because he models himself on Paul Scholes. So I think he could be like a deep playmaker.
That'd be fine.
Potentially. But Knaus is the most versatile out of the lot. I think the one who has the most potential for going forward is Felipe. But again, I'd still move on Moreno if we would move on one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, where am I? Where am I on these?
We are in the season opener.
Openers, yes, we're in season openers. First game of the season on April 17th. We're at home to wherever they like to play at. Apparently,
Red Bull.
Red Bull Arena?
Their schedule came out, and all their home games are at Red Bull Arena, I believe.
Yeah, which is the New Jersey City FC.
Yep.
I really can't wait.
No, it's a good start for us. I think that they are a team. They are a team that has only gotten worse, and they have plugged no holes.
No.
So if you're looking at a team that's looking to get off to a good start with a new coach and a new system, New York City is unlikely to put up much resistance. Yeah. They've lost. Who they lost? They lost Ring. They've lost Matriza. They've lost Ronald. Is it Matarita?
Matarita. They've lost not Tinahome. Did they lose Tinahome?
I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know. They've made no major incoming signings.
Oh, there was one of the forwards, little guy. Oh, that's gonna annoy me now. I can see his face. That's the problem. I just can't put a name to the face. But yeah, you're right. They've lost a lot of players, and they've not made any waves in the transfer market. And this is obviously old era DC. Traditionally, we've not done well against New York City. I think we've had maybe 1 or 2 wins against them.
Yeah, and a lot of red cards for some reason.
Yeah.
So here are the players that have moved out, just so we don't so we are looking good. Alex Ring out to Austin FC, Matarita, FC Cincinnati, Matriza Al Ali in Egypt, Gideon Zalalem out, free agent.
He was there?
He was briefly. Oh. He signed, I think, with Kansas City recently. I'm not sure. He plays for, he's free agent. Joe Scally signed to Borussia Mönchengladbach for $2 million.
Oh, wow.
So that's cool. I didn't know about that. And the 2 players that are in are a homegrown from Yale and a defender from Malte Amundsen. So that's it. That's their big moves that they've made. Tinnerholm's still on the team.
Yeah.
And Abear. What's that? Castellanos is still on the team as well, and so is Abear. Jesus Medina still on the team. So they have some of their names, but they have taken a big knock here. Keaton Park's another player that is, I think, signed. Yeah, he's a good young player. James Sands, another player that is someone to watch. But overall, this is the team. Maxi Morales. Sorry, I'm looking at their they do have some players. They do have some players that can do it. But I think that this is a one you want to look at for 3 points. I would hope.
And to be fair, they did well last season. Ish.
Yeah. Better than us for sure.
Well, yeah. There wasn't many teams that did worse than us.
No, there were not.
No. But this is a new year. As we've just seen, they've not really made that many incoming signings. 2. We could surprise a few this year, I reckon. And we could start off with like a 5-0 win. That would be nice. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. The second game of the season is on the road at New England Revolution. Now, this is a game that I love watching, because I think there's a good rivalry between the 2 clubs, it seems, and there's always fouls, there's cards, and there's usually goals in this game. So that's a game I'm looking forward to, definitely.
Is that those are at the time of this, those are the 2 that were announced? Those are the first 2 games.
Yep.
The Revs are a team that since Bruce Arena has gotten there have been scary to me. And before he got there, they were very not scary. They were like a kitten. Now I am much more apprehensive about these games.
Yeah.
Adam Bushka always tends to score on us.
Yep.
They have a lot of players. Teal Bunbury, when he was there, scored a goal against. Yes. Is he still there? He's still there, right?
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah. He's probably a good bet for a goal. I feel like there's two players you want to bet on to score against DC United this year. on FanDuel is Bunbury against in New England, and then Acosta when they play FC Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Guarantee.
Yeah.
Just like put the house on it. Just throw all your chips. He's going to score. It's going to happen.
Oh, definitely. I'm going to quickly run through the rest of the season, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
We've got, since that's obviously come out recently, the third game of the season is away to San Jose Earthquakes. Is that? I'm just looking on the Twitter. I haven't got a colour against that one. But from what I remember, that is an away game. That's going to be a very, very early morning, 3 o'clock.
For you, yeah. Not good.
Yeah. I think that's going to be one where I might go to bed beforehand and then wake up and then watch it after and then be ready for the day. Then we've got Columbus Crew, Chicago Fire, Orlando City, Philadelphia Union, Inter Miami, but that kickoff time is yet to be announced. Followed by another game against Inter Miami. Gotta love MLS for back-to-back games against the same team.
Well, I think they're trying to do that, I think, for, COVID reasons specifically and travel.
You say that. There is 3 weeks between the games.
Okay, then I don't know when. That was my only thought. Other than that.
I mean, you'd think that would be logical, but no. We then got playing against newly named Club Football de Montreal. Because, yeah. Then New Jersey City FC, Toronto FC, Philly Union. That's always a good game, that one. Chicago Fire, New Jersey, the Metro Stars, Cincy, Columbus Crew again, Club Football Montreal, Nashville, New England Revolution, Atlanta United. Another classic game. It seems to be between the two sides. And then Philadelphia Union, back to Metro Stars, Chicago Fire, Atlanta again, Cincinnati, Minnesota, Orlando, Nashville, New England Revolution, NYCFC, New York Metro Stars, Columbus Crew, and then our final game of the season on Sunday, November 7th, which will be an 8:30 p.m. kickoff over here in the UK. Yes.
There you go.
Final game, Toronto FC. So,
well, I don't have any sort of PTSD against games at the end of the season being against Toronto. I don't recall that being a problem at all. So we're good to go.
Yeah, thanks.
I think Donovan was talking about trying to make decision day less exciting. So I am all for that. Let's do that, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like less pressure. I would like for us to have wrapped up the supporter shield by then.
Okay, yeah, that too. I even. Please let it not be just for a playoff spot. Please let it not just be for a home game. If there's somehow we're playing for just like, maybe seating. Seating's fine. Yeah, dead rubber would be the best.
Yeah.
And then we can all just relax and it's a party. But I don't think they choose not to do that very often.
No, not at all. Not at all. Any thoughts on the upcoming season? Obviously, do you reckon it will be a surprise or do you reckon it will just be a transitional year and we'll scrape into the playoffs?
I think, I think that the floor for me is the 8th spot and the ceiling for me is the 7th spot. I feel like there's not a lot of variance. I think that, it's not a championship club at this moment. There need to be a lot of player movement to get there. And a lot of Hernan's got to have some more time with them, I think. Yeah. But I think that just based on the talent on the team in this Eastern Conference, that 8th is all you should accept. No less than that. I don't care if it's a transitional year. I don't care if we're trying to lower expectations. That's table stakes for me. Let's get into the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. And just to go back onto the season 3, episode 2 with Hernan Losada, feel free to watch that on YouTube or tune in on your podcaster. I'm just going to drop those links in there.
Good job, man. I love it. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
He is of the opinion that it's going to be a transitional year. He understands the fact that there is a different style of play that the club is used to, and there's a really different style of play that he likes to play. So he's got obviously a very attacking philosophy, and if you listen to the episode, you know that he's never had a 0-0 tie, and he's had a 5-5 tie, which was just insane. 10 goals in one game. I think he was saying that. It was back and forth, and then they went 2 goals down, and they brought it back, and it's just that's the games I live for right there.
Well, what was the new? I somehow forgot this. The game in which we got a point. It was that we got a point against New York City FC with no shots. That was that match, right? We didn't win with no shots. There wasn't an own goal and we won, right? It was. I'm trying to remember. It was a draw, right?
Yeah. So there was one guy. So going back to season 3, episode 3 with Bill Hamid, the last show. There was a game we were talking about, and there was a game against Montreal away, and he made so many saves, and that was one of his best games that he had. DC United had one shot on goal, one shot on target, and we won 1-0.
There you go. Efficiency.
That's what we like.
XG1, goals 1.
Exactly. Well, I don't know whether it was an expected goal.
Yeah, right. Or unexpected.
Come on, it's DC.
UXG.
Right, let's have a little look at the comments, see what's being said. So Stu's season can't start soon enough. Looking forward to the start of what's hopefully a brand new era. Totally agree. Kim was saying when we were talking about midfield options, Muzz is naturally more of an 8 than a number 6.
I think that's actually true. I think that he's a, you look at his size and you look at his range of passing and you look at his ability to keep the ball. I think that's right. I think that is certainly true. So I think that he fits better in a pairing rather than just sitting flat against in front of the back three.
Yeah. Yeah. That to me, that's more the Russell role rather than and to be fair, Russell has now changed his number to number 6.
There you go. Trying to dram. He's like, I'm not a right back. I'm not a right back. Look at my number. They don't play there.
Exactly. Stu then goes on to say versatility versus speciality. Would rather keep Russell. He's probably the right business decision though.
Yeah, I think he could fit in more places, but I think that's also why he has value.
Yeah. Kim just says it's a transitional year where we'll be surprised. I'll take that.
Sure.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a negative surprise.
Yeah.
We can't. I don't think that would be a surprise if we were as bad. That would be a surprise. So
that would be very big. Ooh, no, don't want that. Please, no.
Yeah, I agree.
Biggest. Let's have some predictions for the year.
Okay.
Who do you think is going to be the biggest surprise this year, apart from ourselves?
From a player's perspective, who's going to have the most surprising season, or
let's do player and club.
Okay. Oh, I got it now. You're saying,
Yeah.
On DC United, who's going to have the most surprising year? I think I'm going to be optimistic and say Ola Kamara will have the most surprising year, and that he will score 8 goals after scoring. I am. That's a surprise, right? Like I feel like if I've got to make a surprising, I've got to make a surprising thing. It would be that. Playing. Like if I were to tell you that, say, Julian Gressel had 12 assists again, which he has done before, is that a surprise? Is that more or less surprising to you? All right, that's not a surprise. To be
fair, no, that's surprising in the DC team.
Okay, well, either one of those, 2 surprises. I think I think Gressel has 10 assists, and I think Ola has 8 goals.
Nice. I would be very happy with that.
I don't know if that's going to happen, but that would be a surprise, and that's my surprise I'm offering. From a team perspective, who would be a big surprise? Do you have one on? You have one on top of your head already, so I can come back, or I have to walk through it?
I reckon Cincy will surprise a lot of people this year, just from how much money they've spent in the transfer market. When you sign the likes of Brenner, who is just, again, Stu will back me up on this one. When you go on Football Manager, he is just absolutely insane. One of our friends, Andy, he seen that Cincinnati sold him to Sao Paulo for $3.3 million.
There you go.
That's business sense right there. But I think Cincinnati will surprise a lot of people, a lot like how Orlando surprised a lot of people in 2020.
Here's your big surprise. I bet you that Atlanta United will not finish 23rd overall again this season.
No, that's not a surprise.
Not a surprise. Not a surprise. Oh, and then I don't know.
I mean, they've got Martinez back this year.
Oh, I didn't know that you realized that. I thought maybe that would be not the case. I thought maybe I could slip that one past you.
I mean, let's put it this way: new people to MLS probably will be surprised at that.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's LA Galaxy also will perform much better with Greg Vanney. Carlos Pavone, I think, is not coming back for very bad reasons. If you've Googled him lately,
yes.
But I think that they will probably have a much better year. Their roster is not is not as strong, obviously, as it was a few years ago. But I would bet you that both of those teams will revert to form over the long run. So,
a surprise from the other side. So rather than people who will shock us for a good reason, I reckon LAFC are not going to have as good a season as they. I mean, they tend to choke anyway, but I reckon they won't get the opportunity to do that.
Well, that's possible. I mean, Carlos Vela is not a spring chicken. He's still pretty young. Although I think the big, I don't remember why I was getting the rounds again, but the interview with Sebi and Ibrahimovic talking about, well, there's two great players in LA, and he's like, how old is he? Yes, when I was that age, where was I? Oh, I was in Europe. That's why. So LAFC is that's a good shout. It's possible that they don't live up to the same expectations as they had before. Is Dejan Jakovic still there? Is DC United club legend Dejan Jakovic still there?
I don't know, actually.
It was a wild to me that he was the starting center back for them for the whole first season that they were.
That's insane.
He was here for a while, and then he played in Japan for quite a long time. I thought he had retired, but he did not, clearly.
There you go. I'm just going to quickly move back to the chat. Stu says, amending the sleep pattern for live MLS is a ritual in itself. Those rare normal time games in the UK, I like getting a free cookie with your coffee.
Man, how many of you guys are there? We've got to understand this from us folks who are over here. We look at the TV ratings in our country, and they get beaten by axe throwing. They get beaten by monster truck rallies that are shown on replay. Paint drying, all those things tend to beat an MLS game on national television. How many of you staying up late folks are there over there, if you had to guess?
I mean, I reckon there's quite a lot of us. From a DC perspective, I think this is going to surprise you, because if you end up becoming a DC United Kingdom member, which you can do, just head to dcunitedkingdom.com/membership. There's a few of us from the UK in there who do stay up and watch the games. Probably will be doing some more watch-alongs this year, because the few times that we did last year, it went really, really well. But there you've got Orlando City UK, who've got a huge membership and a huge following. They've got quite a lot of... I would probably say you're probably looking at a 4-figure number.
All right. I was going to ask, how many open-top buses could you fill with MLS watchers?
Quite a few.
A fleet. Reckon.
Yeah.
Interesting.
A fleet of open-top buses. Yeah. It's growing. Let's put it that way. It doesn't help the fact that a lot of the games are kicking off in the early hours of the morning.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's the extreme. That would be like if there was a large supporters group culture for like Australian soccer here on the East Coast because those are on at 2 a.m. So if maybe there are a whole bunch of like Adelaide United supporters groups in Virginia that I don't know about. It's possible. Who knows?
Who knows?
But we appreciate it. You don't goose our domestic numbers, but we'll take it anyway.
Yeah, it's one of these things that when you get into it, you realize that the community aspect of it doesn't matter which team you follow. MLS UK community is something special. There is a hashtag that we use, which is hashtag MLS UK, so you can see all the content and all the tweets that happen from all the followers of MLS over here. And there's no bad blood, and that's what I love about MLS in general as well. When you've got games against rivals, yes, you've got the tifos, you've got the smoke grenades and things like that, but you just don't see violence, or you don't hear about it anyway, unlike you do when you go to a Millwall game or you go to a Leeds United game.
Right. It happens, but it's the exception rather than something that's expected. I think that's fair.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that we had it'll be dropping next week. We had an interview with Zoltan Stieber, and he talked about how it sounded bad at the time, and I think that he tried to correct it too. Like, it sounded like he was saying he went here for a vacation, but it not necessarily true. More, it was more that it was a mental break from the strain of being where the game is 24/7 there. The game is the only thing that matters. When you're in the streets, if you have a bad game, people yell at you. You can't go anywhere. And he didn't want that anymore. And he came here and he realized that he could have a life and there were other things that were more important. Yeah. And I love soccer, obviously, but like, There are things that are more important. And even if you get paid to play, like you should be able to have a life and have some joy, even if your team sucks. You can't just be miserable all the time, and you shouldn't tolerate people coming up to you on the street and yelling at you in your face because you played poorly.
You put a phrase that I said earlier, just offshore, you put the shoe on the other foot. You wouldn't want to be shouted at for doing your job badly, would you?
Right.
So why would you do it to someone else? I've got a mantra of treat people like how you want to be treated. It's as simple as that.
It is.
Yeah. Going back to the chat after that lovely MLS UK plug there. What have we got on there? Stu, no more Kamara cul-de-sac. Which, if you've obviously watched Kamara quite a lot over the last couple of years, he likes to get himself offside. No comment on that one. But then he also backs me up about Brenner on Football Manager. Is an insane talent, but there's been plenty of FM talents who don't reach those heights. Freddie Adu. Joe Samba. If you are a long-time Football Manager player. There's a lot of players who just don't do it. So there is sometimes they are wrong, but they're right quite a lot of the time as well. Kim wants a census of UK watchers.
I do too.
Yeah.
We need a head count.
We do. And to be fair, we've just had a UK census happen.
They could have added the question. They could have added, do you stay up late? Missed opportunity.
Oh, damn. Just have to
Flores!
Or in my household, Flores! Because, got the kid, and he's usually asleep at that point. If he's not teething or going through a sleep regression like he is at the moment.
Fun. Dad stuff.
Yes. Ugh. It's really annoying. Last night was a killer. Stu goes, there's at least 3 of us. Stu, there's more than that. Come on.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's about what we have. DC averages on TV outside of the DC region when it gets on ESPN Plus. So,
well, the thing over here, the games are really accessible. So,
sort of like the inverse of how we can watch all of your games for $6 a month, right?
But then that's the inverse for us. So we can't watch all the games over here because of media rights. So for us, we get to, if we're not bothered by commentary, we get to watch all the games online. You can literally stream all the games for free, not all legal as well. But then you've obviously got VPNs and all that jazz, and you've got there's a channel called Free Sports. They broadcast a lot of the MLS games. Then there's Sky Sports as well, which is the major broadcaster for sports coverage over here. And I
feel like MLS UK sponsorship opportunity for that dodgy website that broadcasts all the game. I think you guys should look into a sponsorship, like just for those of you who want to watch more games and just can't. If you're up at 1 a.m. watching this game on the West Coast, go to this website.
I mean, last year the MLS is back tournament, the Montreal Impact game, which was obviously a late game for you guys.
Yep.
Because I think it was a 10 o'clock kickoff. I was at a 10:30 one, I think, actually.
Because that was the one was delayed, right?
Yeah.
No, there was one that was delayed 3 times.
That was the Toronto game.
Yeah.
Yes. That was the one that you got to do the pre-game stuff, wasn't it?
Yes, I think so. I think that's right.
I was supposed to do that the day before, but then it got delayed. And then I was at work the next day.
I Wally pipped you.
You did. And I hope you enjoyed it.
It was great.
Kim's just said there was that time where someone launched a bottle rocket at the Metro Stars bench.
Yeah, I mean there are rare occasions of there was a fight outside Audi Field 2 years ago after a game. It happens.
Was
really.
that was against Seattle, wasn't it? If I remember right.
Yes. And apparently we were the aggressors on that one. So it happens. But if you really want to do things that are countercultural or whatever, is just I would recommend you just take RFK Refugee stickers and you just put them in the bathroom at Audi Field, as numerous of you have done over the years. You can buy stickers at rfkrefugees.com/merch if you're interested in becoming a hooligan without hurting anybody. Just put stickers on places.
Oh, all right. Right. Should we move on to some fan questions?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a marathon episode. I thought we would go 60 minutes. We are still rocking here.
We are still rocking. We're coming up to the last section. If you're still watching, which there is guys out there you're still watching, so we do appreciate the support and the fact that you're still there in the chat. So if you've got a question that you want to ask us, get it in there now, because we've got a couple of questions to go through. So I've sent an Insta story out to get some questions, and a person asked 3, which was quite nice to see. So trippin.I on Instagram asked, how are you planning on attending any games this season? For me personally,
yeah, that's a harder question for you probably.
Yeah, it all depends on COVID. I know me and my wife really want to come back to DC because we love the city, and if the opportunity ever came up, we'd move out there in a heartbeat. Easy, no questions asked. However, COVID rise, whether we're allowed to travel, and if we ended up coming back and we'd have to quarantine and pay £1,750 for the privilege of doing that. Did you not know that?
No, what?
Yeah, so depending on which country you come back from, if you're on, they call it the red list of countries. I think France is about to go on there. Brazil, South Africa, the countries where the pandemic's really hit badly. You got to quarantine for 10 days, I think it is, or is it 7 days? One of the two. Mm-hmm. And you have to pay £1,750 to do it. There's no choice on it. You either pay that or you get fined £10,000.
Yeah, not worth traveling, man.
No.
DC will be here.
Yeah, but
we're not going anywhere.
Isn't on that list, so we'd still have to quarantine, but we wouldn't have to pay for the privilege.
That is insane. That is nuts. I feel like if that were an American policy, there would be. We don't handle that as well. we chuck tea into rivers for that kind of thing. So I don't know if that would slide here. I don't think it would.
No, but honestly, yeah, I would love to come back. I would love to bring the little boy over as well and get him to Audi Field for his first ever soccer match. That would be insane to have him get asked when he's older. What was your first football game? Yeah, my dad took me to America for some strange reason.
There are so many other options nearby. However, what we did was
we took a 9-hour flight, went to DC, and we ended up in Audi Field.
That would rule.
What a story that would be.
It would.
Yeah.
I am planning on going to quite a few games, I think. We'll see. We're waiting to find out what the credential situation is for 2021, but yeah, I mean, I think that yes, I will be there for anybody who's listening and wants to meet. There won't be very many of us. There'll only be 20% of capacity, but if I'm there, we can.
Is it 20? I thought it was 10%.
I don't know.
I think it's 2,000, isn't it?
I think
2,000
right.
spectators, which is.
It'll ramp up through the season. It will not remain that low for long. I imagine even in April they'll probably bump that number up a little bit.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's extra revenue either way for the club, which is what they need right now. So happy days. Next question he asked was, any players we would like to see DCU bring in?
So many.
There is, yeah. I mean,
literally thousands of players would love the.
I'm going to tack something onto this one.
Yeah.
Because there was a tweet that I got tagged in by David Shams and a friend of the show. He asked about Gareth Bale and where do we see him coming in? Would it be MLS? Gareth Bale is on a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
But would that be the kind of player you'd want to see coming into the twilight years of his career, winding down, coming up to retirement so he can play more golf?
He'll want to go play for Atlanta so he could play at Augusta every weekend. I think that would be his desired location.
Yeah, I'd love to play at Augusta.
Yeah, I mean, you and a lot of people for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think I think that Wayne Rooney was the rare exception of that move working. Yeah. I think more often than not it does not work. Look at Gareth Bale at Spurs this year. Not really let the world on fire. So I think it has to be a player that's motivated. Talent does not overcome apathy. So you need to have a player who actually wants to be here. So I don't, there's plenty of players I'd like to see here. Luciano Acosta being one of them, of course. But there are, yeah, right. There are lots of, I feel like my expectations are so low because of how they have talked about money for the last forever. Yeah. So I'm really always surprised when it's someone that I've heard of already that we buy.
Yeah.
He's usually somebody they have to Google furiously and talk about.
Yes.
Is there any player that you'd hope that we would sign?
I don't think so. Mainly because my expectations were tempered when I had Ernan on the show, and so now we have to be creative this year. But I want to see us bring youth in rather than players at the tail end of their career, because usually you only get 1 or 2 years out of them. I mean, you look at Wayne Rooney, we only got 18 months out of him.
Yeah.
Which, granted, he had a great 18 months with us. So not so great last couple of games, but he scored plenty of amazing goals against Orlando City. I just want to see the youth. I want to see players here for a longer term rather than just a quick blast, get a few shirt sales and job done.
Yeah,
I don't want to see that.
Give me Tammy Abraham. That's what I want. He's on the outs at Chelsea. Give him me. It's like on FIFA where you spend your entire transfer budget on making a player who doesn't want to come to you, and that's what this would be there in spades. That's what I want.
Tammy would be a great signing.
He would destroy MLS. He would rip it in half. It would be great.
Pace. He's great in the air.
Yep,
he's got a good finish.
Big.
On him.
He's strong. Yeah, for sure. All those things.
I
imagine MLS center backs having a real tough time with him, but not to be
scared.
Yeah. Nigel Roberto, the compromise choice.
You never know. He might light the MLS on fire.
I'm saying he's just not Tammy Abraham. I'm saying if we were, he's not. So I think that he will still. My bold prediction is he will score more goals than Eric Sorga did last year by a multiple of 3 in 2021. So he will have at least 3 goals. That's my bold prediction. Put it in pen.
But will he score in the 98th minute against the Metro Stars?
I mean, that's where. How many goals is that worth? I guess is what you're saying.
I mean, that's worth a lot of goals.
Right. That's right. That's like 10 goals.
Yeah. Especially when it's the winner as well.
No, listen. I get it. That's why so many fans love him so much. But that's just that's that.
Kim, now, if you're going to get a player now is the time to raid Ligue 1 in France.
Yeah, no, that's true.
That's a great shout, that one. But they would take a while to get over because of COVID.
I was just about to say the red list or whatever.
Yes.
Challenge.
Yeah, make them pay $1,750 to quarantine in a hotel. Why not?
You're gonna have to break the show into 2 pieces, man. We are.
Wait. Nah.
They're about to put chapters in it. It's gonna be an Audible audiobook.
Oh, don't tempt me.
I think that's a new revenue opportunity.
That is, yeah. We could branch out from the SECN into audiobooks.
There you go.
And last question from Trip and I is thoughts on the schedule. It's great to have football back. Yeah. I have a lot of work ahead of me as I go and try to book all of the other teams' blogs on the show ahead of time. So I'm happy to have it to start doing that work, but also I'm dreading the amount of email that I'm about to have to do. Oh well. Right. So now I know before the show you mentioned that there was a couple of questions on Discord. So do you want to go through those?
Yeah, let me read those real quick here. Sorry, I didn't have it up in front of me here. Question from Angus: how has the supporters content creator I don't know, SECN, I don't remember what it actually stands for, impacted your work? Has it improved player availability and front office cooperation? I'll speak for us and say so SCCN is, I think you can see above my left head there's a logo here that James has put
just
one of these directions
that way.
It was a group put together by the comms folks at DC United to showcase creator made content and also make it a little bit easier for us to get what we need to be able to create what we want to create. I think it's been mutually beneficial for the team and for us. I think that there aren't as many mainstream outlets giving them the attention that they think they deserve or want. So it's really about the people who do it for free, and how much, James and I know we put a lot of work in to be able to put the show together and make it look good, make it something worth your time to spend on. But I will say that the team, since this has started, has been extremely flexible and helpful in getting us the players that, we basically ask our listeners, who do you want us to get? And then we go get them. That's kind of how it works. And that's, that's ideal. It's great. I think that the question I always have is, what's this going to be like post COVID? I feel like are we still going to have this awesome relationship? I hope we do. I think I really do think it's beneficial for both sides. What do you think?
No, I totally agree. I think for me personally, it's been phenomenal. The whole setup when it was originally done was fantastic. I remember we had that first call about it, and when it got set up, that was unreal, because I think we had I hope they don't mind me saying, but we had Ben Olsen and Steve Birnbaum on the call, and that was just insane. So I really enjoyed that, and it's just gone from strength to strength over the months, and over it's been just over a year now since it got originally set up.
I think that's right. Actually, yeah, it's been a year. I know when it was, because I was in the city for work that day. It was a month and 2 weeks ago. Wow. A year and 2 weeks ago.
There you go.
So I was just going to say, and two, the people who started that have moved on from the team. So half the people in the room with us as this was starting are gone, and it's still on its feet and it's still working. So the folks who remain have done a good job at I think, and two, like it's important to everybody, all of us, to really keep still editorial freedom. They don't interfere on what we have to say. They don't pre-screen questions, any of that stuff. So they understand that, while we're not capital J journalists or whatever, there's still a respect for what we're doing and making it authentic. And, I don't think they want to hear us just jumping down up on the team every single day and the players personally, but, for the most part, I think it's a really transparent and good agreement that's benefited us, them, and the listeners.
Yeah. I mean, you look at, from both of us, the amount of guests that we've had on the show and the caliber of the guests. We both had Hernan Losada on this year. Who would have thought? Well, who would think from any league in the world that they would have the head coach of a professional soccer club on a fan-made podcast?
That was also we were the first media availability that he had it all. Yeah. It came out before his post interview. It came out before his athletic interview. So if that doesn't tell you the value that they place on these groups, not just our show, but like all of these groups, I don't think anything will. They know that the people who care the most are the people who listen to podcasts, because you're obviously a hardcore if you're spending your time, or in some cases your money, supporting podcast creators. So
head over to rfkrefugees.com/merch.
There you go. Or Patreon, either way, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. And for me, just look in the description, you'll see some links in there. Thank you very much. But yeah, SCCEN has been fantastic. I've loved every minute of it. It's certainly helped me keep going. Not just because I love the club as well, obviously that keeps me going, but the fact that we've got constant contact with the guys in the club, the fact that we can just bounce emails from between us to get some ideas going, I think is absolutely fantastic. So thank you to the club for, one, setting it up, but two, keeping it going, and three, giving us the players that we do ask for, because you're just fantastic. Was another question that came?
It was about that. I think we covered it.
Cool. There was a question just in the chat there from Stu. Who in the MLS would you like to see DCU get on board realistically? Ooh, interleague transfer.
Yeah, I don't know. Teal Bunbury, so he stopped scoring on us.
Yes, we don't have to play him.
That's true. We could give him, put him on vacation. He could retire him. We pay him to go paint, right?
Let him go play golf.
Yeah, he could go paint with Ben in his studio.
Yes, to be fair, some of his stuff is pretty good.
Oh, it's very good. Absolutely. Yeah. I talked to my wife about taking a look at that. She's like, do you know how much paintings on 6 foot by 6 foot canvases cost? Like, I don't. She's like, we're not there. We're not doing that. So,
and how much do they cost?
Oh, I have not asked him. No, but I think we're talking in the 4 to 5 digits, potentially, probably at least 4, probably potentially 5, depending on the larger one. So
yeah,
that's a pass.
Yeah, hard pass, unfortunately.
That's a pass, Ben.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be wrong. Hey, it could be a couple $100 and I'm making a move. So Ben, if you're one of the few people watching live right now, get in my DMs. Let's talk about it. I got a credit card.
And if you end up seeing one of the tags that we might tag you in on Insta, because we know you're on there.
There you go. That's true.
Just hit him up. Let him know. Give him something for free. Why not? Kim has just commented on, obviously, our SCCN stuff there. That's a far cry from where it used to be under previous communication regimes. Now, for me, I don't really know how it was before, because I'm not.
Kim is speaking the truth. That is factual.
Yeah.
Yes. I've been involved in some capacity, either a blogger or podcaster or something for, what year is it? We're in 2021. Like 10 years off and on. So I've dealt with a couple of different regimes. Yeah. So I would say for sure they have gotten much, much better about realizing that this is free media is good media that doesn't cost you anything. And when you're a constrained budget in a comms department, boy, if there are people that are willing to give hours and hours of their week to create content about you, you better, it serves you well to make them happy. So they have done that.
Exactly. Well, I think that's all the questions, isn't it? I don't think there was any more that have come through. I'm just going to quickly check the channels just to make sure, but no, that looks like it is it. And I'm surprised we've still got watchers because England are playing at the moment. So we've done well.
Yeah, wow.
Yes, there we go. Right. Kim's just said there was a good age, there was a dark age, and there is the current times.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go.
There you are. Right. I think we're coming to a natural end now. We've done the fan questions. Is there anything you want to promote? I know you've dropped in a few links over the.
I don't know what you're talking about, James. I have not done that at all yet. I think the biggest thing I haven't talked about, if there's if somebody here, and you guys can do this from overseas, we're doing a Lot 8 tailgate, a virtual tailgate before the first game. So you can go to rfkrefugees.com/tailgate. It's basically going to be a Zoom party where we're all going to get together and drink, talk about the game, and then it'll turn into a live episode preview game. So make sure you join us for that. It could be potentially that I'm going to be at Audi Field for that, so I don't necessarily know yet how that will work, but we're gonna make it work anyway. So rfkrefugees.com/tailgate, and then if you want to listen to our podcast, I would imagine if you're listening, I think that there's a good chance that we have a shared audience in some way, but if not,
yeah,
rfkrefugees.com/subscribe and check us out.
No, definitely. Great podcast. And thank you for taking the time out to come on to the show today. We need to do it the other way around.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah. As I've already mentioned before, there's a few links down in the description. If you want to support the show in any way, we've got merchandise. There is a new store, different to what we had last year, but some great stuff on there. You've got membership as well, which is free. You don't have to pay, but if you do want to pay, there is the option to do that and support the show. There's also Patreon as well, which is another way you can support the show without becoming a member. I think this starts from like $3 a month, so why not? Go for it. Support me. It'd be nice. And that's about it. Thank you for watching if you're watching live. Thank you for watching if you're watching after. Thank you for listening to the show. Please share. Rate the show as well. Give it 5 stars. Why not? Don't want anything less, really. And leave a review. And until next time, until season 3, episode 5,